Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Elizabeth Warren leaving the 2020 U.S. presidential primary race. All right, so Elizabeth Warren was with us for a long time. She certainly warrants her own video to talk about her leaving. Let me talk about Elizabeth Warren and my memories of her. So one, briefly, I was in opposition to Elizabeth Warren pretty much the entire election, the entire primary race cycle. And the reason why is I felt she othered wealthy Americans, and we're supposed to be in this era now where you don't other people, right? You don't take an entire class of people and other them, right? Like, we're all supposed to be Americans, and we're supposed to treat each other with respect, no matter what attribute we have, right? If we have one attribute, that's not a reason to other someone. And boy, oh boy, did Elizabeth Warren other the wealthy. She went out after them, fangs and claws out, right? Like she had this plan to drag the wealthy to the poor. She had no plan to lift the poor up to the wealthy. She was like, I promise you, I will bring every millionaire and billionaire to their knees with taxes. And I'll take their money and give it to you, right? Like, it was very bold-faced, and her vindictiveness, in my opinion, to the wealthy was really open, right? Like, and she wore it on her sleeves, and I just did not like that, okay? Now, that's the part I didn't like. What I did like was she had a lot of persistence. I love that she quit after Super Tuesday. I like that she let the American people decide on her, right? She beat Amy Klobuchar in character and grit, and like Amy Klobuchar was supposed to be a heartland stalwart. She turned out to not be a stalwart. She turned out to not have any grit, right? Like, basically the Blue Power base came and go, hey, we need you to push Joe Biden a few yards, and she folded like a Sunday morning, like the church, like the chairs we use for Sunday school. Click, click, right? Like, and like, I'm sure they went to Elizabeth, and she's like, heck to the no. People are going to decide whether I'm going to be president or not. And Amy took that away. Amy took that away from the American people. She would not let the American people decide whether she was going to be president or not. She was only trailing Elizabeth Warren by one delegate. One delegate, right? She was doing the same numbers as Elizabeth. She should have let the American people decide. And so I do not see the point of, so Elizabeth Warren was very scrappy. I love that she let the American people decide. That was really cool of her. She was super smart, crazy smart, right? She had a lot of plans. She was really, really, had tons of plans, right? I'm not sure they were good plans, but I like that she had them. That's good. Having plans is better than not having plans. That is good. I think there are some lessons to learn from Elizabeth. One of them is you can't be all business. This is a personal lesson for me. I really, really, really struggle with this. So I'm a professional, right? And I would really like to let my hair down sometimes at work, but I'm terrified of it. And I don't, right? I don't make jokes. I don't make personal comments. I don't do nothing like, I don't draw outside the line. I don't color outside the lines at work anymore, period. Right? And the reason why is, like, you can't risk saying something that can offend someone. You got to be super careful to be showing respect to everyone at all times. And when it comes to humor and fun and charismatic, wordplay and stuff like that, you got to take risks to do that stuff. And here's the thing. In national politics, running for the Iron Throne, trying to win the Iron Throne of American politics to be the U.S. president, here's the thing, you can't do that like a normal job. You've got to have a little bit of flair. You got to have some flair. You have to be able to mix charisma and humor and all those other things in there. And I don't think Elizabeth could, right? Like, I don't ever remember her telling a joke. I don't remember ever laughing at anything she ever said. I don't remember her ever telling, like, Joe Biden, right? That corn pop story, boy, that was a problem, right? He's got a million problematic stories. But boy, some of them are fun to listen to, right? Like, and that's the issue. Elizabeth didn't have many stories that were fun to listen to. So, one, I don't think that's her problem. That's just who she was. But I think for us, I'm not going to change the way I do my job because I ain't running for president, right? Like, that I got to keep, being careful, right? But the reality is, if you want the top jobs, especially, and maybe like even if you're going to run, if you're going to try to play at the really, really highest levels of power, you've got to be able to mix risk in there. And that is tough. That is very, very tough. And I think, Elizabeth was very buttoned down, very professional, and she didn't have that ability to mix in that charisma and that risk and that humor and that fun, and it hurt her. It hurt her, right? And so, basically, if you're trying to be like a CEO or like an international mogul or something, you're gonna have to learn how to do that. I have no idea how you would, because it seems so risky, and it seems like you could just get canceled at a second, in a moment's notice. And look at Joe Biden. He almost did. He used several, he has skirted being canceled several times from stuff he's done, right? He's had to deal with the problems of his fun charisma, right? Whereas Elizabeth Warren didn't have any fun charisma, in my opinion, right? Didn't have to deal with any of the problems, but didn't get any of the votes. People got to like you, right? And it's a problem. And I struggle with this. I'm very, very professional, and I really wish I had some more of those soft skills. And Elizabeth really didn't have them, and it stopped her. It stopped her, in my opinion. All right, one of the things that blew my mind, too, was when she quit, all right? When she did her final, hey, I'm out, she cried. There were tears coming out of her face, okay? This was very genuine, and this really impressed me. And the reason why was, you see a lot of stuff in politics, right? And I feel like sometimes you hear people and you're like, hey, is that real, right? But you could tell this was very genuine. She had really put her heart and soul into making this work. She had left it all on the field. Like there was nothing left in the tank. She was running on fumes. She had not held back anything, right? And I love that type of determination, and I love how much she was willing to invest and how hard she was willing to work. And she lost. And that's another thing. She lost, right? She did suspend her campaign, but by going out after Super Tuesday, I feel like you might want to say she lost. I don't know. I'm tempted to say she lost rather than quit. I don't know if I've decided on that yet. But she really went out in style. And the fact that, and she was crying when she gave her speech. And she was very, very, very sad. And I thought it was really genuine, and I thought it was very real, and it was coming from a genuine place. And she had really put it on the line for the American people. And I have a huge amount of respect for how much she invested, and for seeing it past Super Tuesday, right? And only for having gone out after the American people had really had a chance to say no, right? No, Elizabeth Warren, you're not going to be our president. Because, that is well over a third of, it's actually 38% of the vote. After Super Tuesday, when Super Tuesday's done, you have 1,550 votes that are finished, right? The total, the 1,550 delegates are finished, that they're counted, right, for as of Super Tuesday. And then they're cast. Yeah, they're not counted yet. But then you have a total of 3,950, right? So we still have, as of Super Tuesday, that's 38% of the vote is done. 62% is left to go. That's enough to say, especially for Elizabeth Warren, I think that was enough to say, yeah, I'm ducking out, right? I get it. Especially if you're past the age of retirement, like that, yeah, because the hot sun's coming, July, June, August. I think it was literally going to be dangerous for her to continue to, she was doing selfie lines every day. When you're 70 years old and you're standing in the August sun, you don't want to have an Elizabeth August 2020. That ain't a problem. That nobody wanted that, right? That's a thing. I really think Elizabeth Warren was incredibly gracious in the way she actually came out of the election. And when she was shedding tears, on national TV, there might have been a tear coming out of my eye too. I was impressed. It was. She did a really good job with how she handled it, and I thought it was very impressive that she waited to see what the American people said about her before she quit. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear what you think about Elizabeth dropping out of the race. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.